and welcome to the first edition of the Spike Ridgley Show for the 2022 season. I'm your host, Dave Sheets, and with me is the head coach of the Massillon Tiger baseball team, Spike Ridgley. Spike, welcome to the show.
Happy to be back.
Glad to have you with us. Your Tigers are off to a 3-2 start through the first several weeks of the season. How would you summarize your team's performance through your first 5 games?
The guys are playing hard. We've got a good team chemistry, and guys are getting much needed experience is what's happening right now with the construction of our team. I think the more we play, we're going to see our guys continue to get better, and we're seeing that process right now.
Now, the weather this time of year is always a big factor during the early part of the season. How do the postponements and cancellations affect you, your coaches, and your players?
You know, when I was in school, I think it was a lot harder because, you know, we would get to go outside and be on the dirt for a little while, and then we'd have to go back into a gym. It's a little different for us here because we're going back into a 100-yard indoor facility where we can still get basically everything done. So kids have done a really nice job with it. Everybody's remained positive, and I think a big part of that is just being able to have that practice facility that we do have.
We'll focus more on the varsity in a few moments, but first, can you tell us a little bit about this year's coaching staff and your thoughts early on in the season about your JV and your freshman teams?
Yeah, we were able to retain the entire varsity staff. That's something we've done now for this our second year with that. Most of the guys have been the last 4 years, but it's Coach Knight's our pitching coach. Coach Merceric, he's a guidance counselor in the building. He is our infield first base coach. Coach Knight's he's also in the building as well. We got Coach Parker as an intervention specialist at Lake. He's our hitting coach. I think this is his 6th year with us. He coaches 3rd. And then we have Coach Pryor that coaches football. He's our head freshman coach now. And we also have Coach Reese. He's an academic assist person in the building. He's an assistant freshman coach. We've got Nate Welton as our first former player to join our staff. So he's back working with us, doing a nice job with the JVs as an assistant. And then we got Nick Todich. Nick Todich was with us the previous 4 years, then he had to take last year off because his job changed, and now he's back with us again as our head JV coach. So we're pretty lucky to have a really good group of guys around our kids. As far as the teams are concerned, we're not heavy in numbers. I think we've got 12 guys on the freshman team, and then we're kind of rotating between another 30 or so back and forth between varsity and JV. But the one thing that's encouraging is, even though the numbers maybe aren't as high as what they have been, I think the talent is up. Mm-hmm. So it's an exciting group. And what's neat about having 12 guys on a roster on a freshman team is they're all going to play all the time. Mm-hmm. So real positive vibe going with those guys. Coaches are doing a great job with them. And it's the same for the JVs. One thing that's hard about sometimes being a JV coach, and Coach Todich does a real nice job with it, is some days he doesn't know who he's going to have based on what I call him and tell him who we're going to take today to create some depth for the varsity team or to try to get guys experience. But when you have a cohesive staff like we've been able to have over the last few years, guys know how to transition and handle those things. And the kids have been, it's been seamless. And you know, some of it goes back to the parents being flexible too. We're really lucky to have the parents that understand when a guy's, you know, maybe here one day and on a different team the next day to support the program. So it's been very positive.
As we turn our attention back to the varsity, you know, every manager likes to have several players that they can count on to lead the team. Can you tell us more about some of the guys on this year's team that you and your staff are counting on?
Yeah. You know, I think unequivocally Shane Rue is our leader, and he's here. He's going to talk here in a little bit, but he's a guy that's been through it. This is his 4th year. He got some time as a freshman, started learning our culture back then, and has really become an ambassador for our culture and how we do things. There's a lot of trust there from the coaches with Shane and the Shane with the players. Mm-hmm. So he's really kind of that intermediary guy that sort of ties it all together for us. And then we have a couple of other seniors that have stepped up as well. It's great to see Nate Bertliff get an opportunity. He's battled some injuries over the last few years. But even as he's battled through those things, now getting a chance to see him, he has a leadership quality about him and just the way that he does things. Mm-hmm. He's got a quiet voice that he'll use sometimes, and the guys listen. And then the other guy, that's our 3rd senior, is Austin Brawley. We were really excited about Austin when he was a freshman. He decided to focus on football there for a little bit. But getting him back now, seeing how much he's matured since I knew him when he was a freshman, he's got a quiet way about him where the guys listen. And it doesn't hurt that he has those experiences in football, as does Shane, with those successes and such. Mm-hmm. The kids, they have a voice right away with the kids. So We're really lucky to have those three guys, and what I'm really hoping, to be honest, is that the younger kids are watching how they do things and how they carry themselves, because when those guys move on, there'll be a very large void to fill.
Pitching is so important in baseball, as you well know. Currently, your staff ERA is at 3.14 after the first 5 games. What can you tell us about that stat in particular and about this year's staff?
You know, I'm careful with that stat this early in the year, just because, you know, that stat was a lot different before Friday night. You know, and you have one bad inning this time of year, and it can change in a big hurry. So, and then it takes 10 to 12 solid innings to put it back where you would like for it to be. But I think right now we're certainly, you know, looking at that right now, we're happy that's where it's at. We know we need to score more. I think that's where we know we need to improve the most. But if you can pitch and play defense, you're always going to be in the game. We've played, I think, we played 5 games, and they're tight ball games. You know, Shane would tell you every one of the games has been a tight ball game. Even in the 3-run loss to Dover, we had the bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th. So pitching and playing defense is going to be incredibly important. We're pretty young on the mound right now, but we feel like the talent is there. We just got to get these guys experience in those high pressure moments.
All right, thanks, Spike. When we come back, we'll visit with a Tiger player back after this timeout on the Spike Ridgley Show.
At MCTV, we listen to your needs. That's why our internet options deliver the speed and reliability you don't just want, but you need. Upgrade your internet service to give your in-home Wi-Fi an extra boost. More data running through your home means you can power more devices, spend less time buffering, and more time connected to what matters most. Upgrade today. Give us a call or contact us online. MCTV. We go the extra mile.
Welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. The Tiger player joining us this week is senior pitcher and infielder Shane Rue. Shane, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you with us. Shane, what are your earliest memories of playing the sport of baseball, and who taught you the game?
I think my earliest memory is definitely in those Little League games. We got to compete against all of our friends on like 9 different teams. It was a lot of fun competing. I'd say people that taught me the game were definitely my mentors at a young age. My parents, of course. Other friends who played baseball had more experience than I did, and a lot of the coaches that I had at a young age.
Well, Shane, you're a senior now. You've played varsity for 4 years, and I know that Coach mentioned you in a leadership role this team. He's one of the guys who's really looking for leadership from you this year. Is that something you take very seriously? I do. It's
throughout my 4 years here, I've got to experience other leaders and how they did their business, and you can learn a lot from those guys. It's been especially challenging these last couple of years figuring out how to deal with a young team like this, but they're great guys. They make it easy for me, and it's just been nothing but fun so far.
Now, on the mound for the Tigers this year, your record sits at 2-2. I looked at the ERA in 13 innings of work, a .15 ERA. That's amazing. Now, how would you describe your style of pitching when you take the mound?
I think my style of pitching, you just got to go up there and compete. I think that's the only answer, really. You got to get yourself ready to go up there. I'd like to try out different things with, every game, try out what works, what doesn't, and you always got to be looking to get better. We have a great coach, Coach Jordan Knight. He's been really a big mentor for me when it comes to pitching, especially having that college experience. So it's a lot of fun learning from him every chance I get, and it's been fun this year.
I understand from Coach that when you're not pitching, we can find you either at second or third base. Do you prefer one position over the other, and how are they different?
I would say you got to be flexible when you play Massillon baseball. You got to be able to go any position that they need you. And when a lot of people ask me what position I play, I just say baseball. But they're not too different. But whatever they need, we got to be flexible and go at any position they need.
And finally, Shane, at the plate, how would you describe your mental approach when you step into the batter's box?
I like to tell the guys all the time, your mental approach has to start, during the school day or a couple hours before. I think I like to get myself ready way before I even step into the box, and I think that's really important when it comes to success at the plate.
Okay, very good. Well, Shane, we appreciate your time and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Shane Rue joining us on the program this week. The Spike Ridgley Show will continue after this timeout.
Hello, and welcome to the Stark County Humane Society. Today we're going to give you a few pointers when considering adopting a new furry friend. All animals here at the Stark County Humane Society are spayed, neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, dewormed, and if old enough, heartworm tested for our canine friends. Adopters will receive a free exam within 2 weeks of adoption at local veterinarian hospitals. We encourage all adopters to take full advantage of this. A one-time adoption fee is required for your new furry friend. When you adopt, you get an awesome adoption packet that includes treats for your new fur baby and savings for you. But this is not where the cost of adoption stops. Did you know the average cost of an animal like a new puppy or kitten can cost up to $500 annually? This includes annual veterinarian visits, preventative care, and everyday supplies like crate, litter, food, toys. But I hope this doesn't scare you away. Adopting an animal is a huge responsibility and a commitment. Please take the time to consider the cost of adopting a new pet into your family today. I hope to see you soon at the Stark County Humane Society. Please visit our website or visit us on social media for more information.
Welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. I'm Dave Sheets, your host. And Spike, we just spoke with senior Shane Rue in our last segment. How would you describe Shane's impact so far on this year's team?
You know, we've certainly felt his impact on the mound already. Anytime he pitches, we know we're going to have a chance to win. But I think more importantly than anything right now is with a very young group. We got 2 freshmen in the lineup on any given day, and then we're very young other places as well. Mm-hmm. I think just the way he goes about his business each day, whether it's through school or in practice, his preparation before the games, his preparation for his start. Other guys get to see him do those things. It's not that much different than when I was an assistant coach watching Joe Gilhausen and trying to learn from a guy that's done it for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, we're really lucky to have that, and I think the guys are getting a golden opportunity here to learn from somebody that's been a part of a lot of winning, and he's doing it the right way. So, he's our 2-hitter as well, and we feel good about contact with him when he's in the box. But I think the biggest thing from him right now is just the leadership that he's bringing to our team.
In the field, how do you feel about your team's ability to play good defense each time out?
I feel really good about that. I mean, I talked about the addition of Austin Brawley in right field. We already had Brennan Crow from last year. We got a freshman that is really playing well, Tyler Hackenbrack. Our outfield, and then on any given day, too, you got Xavier Hamid who could end up being out there. The 4 really fast people that track balls well and make plays. So I think we're really athletic in the outfield, and then I've been very surprised by our infield defense. I expected Shane to play well defensively. I expected Matt McGeorge to be able to field the ball and play well. But I think a guy that's really standing out right now is Gavin Merceric. I mean, he's playing a very good shortstop for us. He's been very solid defensively, and then Sam Snodgrass is coming on as well at third. So we got a lot of guys that move around, and then Caden Hubler behind the plate. I mean, he's improved every game. He played his best game last game against McKinley. So I feel good about that. I think my major concern right now is with the strikeouts, and we need to get better with that, and the guys know that, and we're working on it.
Okay. Now let's take a look at your scheduled games for the rest of this week before we meet again next week. Tonight, as we record this program on a Tuesday, you're at Louisville. That's a 5 o'clock first pitch. And then you come right back home and host Louisville tomorrow night at the Duck. What can you tell us about the Leopards?
Well, we'll see their 1 tonight and their 2 tomorrow. So it's going to be 2 tough days, which is good. It helps you get better. We get to go play at a really nice facility tonight. They have the infield turf, so that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. But I have a lot of respect for their coach, Brian Warner. He does a great job with those guys. They're well coached, and they'll be ready to go. They're very fundamental defensively, and they've typically hit for some pop. So we're going to need to hit strike 1 a lot tonight and keep the ball down. And if we can do those 2 things and cut down on the strikeouts some, I think we'll have a pretty good opportunity both nights.
Scheduled for this Friday night, you're home against the McKinley Bulldogs. That's a 5 o'clock first pitch. You already have a win over them earlier in the year.
Yeah, another solid team. It was a 2-0 game with really good defense on both sides on Friday night. And I expect more of the same this Friday. It's a rivalry game. If Coach Zelmer is able to throw his one at all, he'll bring him back. I know he will. As would we if we could. We're trying to win every one of those just like they are. A lot of respect for them. and just look forward to those moments where we get to compete in that type of atmosphere.
And then you round out the week at home on Saturday afternoon, a 1 o'clock first pitch against Green. What do you know about the Green Bulldogs?
District finalists last year. District finalists last year. Again, John Wallace, it's a friend of mine, a great coach. We talked on the phone today trying to schedule more games for the lower levels. But, we know that's going to be a dogfight. It always is. We're always fighting to get everything we can that day. Just a lot of respect for the opponent. And it'll be a fun day. It'll be another high. Anytime we get to play these Federal League teams, it's a high impact, sort of high energy day, and we look forward to it.
Well, thanks for your time. All right, as we wrap up this first edition of the Spike Ridgley Show for the 2022 season, we want to thank Spike Ridgley and senior Shane Rue for joining us. I'm your host, Dave Sheets. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.